I know.
I got it.
Well, we can't have the windows because Matthew tried to climb on.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Morning.
Yeah.
I know, right? It feels like
it does feel like
feels
morning.
like morning.
It's the end of the day, so thanks for taking time to see me. I know it's the end of the
Yeah.
day. We're almost done with school. Oh my goodness.
I
You guys
know,
are
right?
doing- so this is kind of our debriefing
Sure.
session for the live coaching that happened the other day, and of course I was here. We kind of talked through the strategy skill set, and I know
Yeah.
I know that sometimes my handwriting is poor, so maybe I think
No,
there's
no,
something I could do
yeah.
better.
No, it's
like
fine.
print it, like maybe make it easier to read. I was like, because I was like, well, that's something that I can do better for the future, for the future, doing this. But I just want to see what you thought about the live coaching experience and how that went. A little different this time, a little different with the paras, but
I think it went well.
okay.
I think, I think it was one of those things where they kind of needed to see it in action. I think right out of the gate they weren't totally, they didn't totally get it. I think they got the antecedent and behavior part.
Okay.
But I think they didn't quite understand the maintaining consequence in terms of not necessarily, that that discipline strategy or whatever didn't work, as opposed to what do I do that actually increases the behavior. So I think that they needed to see that in action. I think they're both kind of visual learners. So we kind of really had to go through it and
show them
not that ignoring didn't work. It's that I think that was the piece that they, I think, learned the most from eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think actually using the chart, the actual ABC chart, helped them, or was that? Was it a hindrance?
Think so.
Okay.
I think so, and I think it helped me to be able to explain it.
Sure.
That there's 3 parts to it.
I think it does help too.
Yeah,
For
I think so
people
too.
like us, we've done so much, but I think for them to see the antecedent behavior and consequence quite often and written out,
totally
does help people. I have a funny story to share with you real quick. So, Renee is doing a similar exercise in Mariah's class, and she showed me a video this morning of this little boy who was having a behavioral outburst, and she wanted to show how they do an ABC chart. So she's like, so have you had outburst? And she showed me the video, and all of a sudden he stopped and started smiling with the camera, and I go, actually, you can show that video as a consequence. So what happens is that when he starts having a behavior, if you whip out your cell phone, the behavior stops. So, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, well, but you're giving him that attention, so there's a different consequence for that behavior. I said, you can actually do a lot with that, explaining that to Mariah and the paras. Wow, that's interesting. Now, this antecedent to the same behavior, the consequence was different, and he was like, hey, he's waving at the camera.
Oh my God, that's so
funny. But Renee was funny about it, because she was like, well, I can't show that. I'm like, actually, I think that's a great video to show how you changed the behavior because of your different consequence.
Right.
Which doesn't always happen, but, well, good. I'm glad I want to tell you that story. It's kind of interesting
that is so funny.
That happened this morning. I know.
Right.
So, I'm glad that worked well. I think with the paras too, it's funny even watching them again this afternoon when you were doing, what's that we do?
The different zoophonics animals. Yeah.
And Debbie watches you so much and does it that I think you guiding her and showing her do stuff is key for her, development and your relationship.
Yeah.
Together.
No, absolutely.
Well, this is great. So, I think, between the two of us, we hit all the points.
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to do before we do the peer-to-peer is type this up for you, because it's hard to read. And and with the peer-to-peer, then you'll just, and I kind of gave Jen a heads up the other day when I met with her. You'll just explain to her how you coach your paras through this process. And, as it was funny, too, because we're saying, well, it's end of the year, and, but at least now we know, I think this kind of thing, even though it's so funny to me that it's high up on the pyramid, it's something that if they have this foundation, they're going to use this again and again.
Right.
So I'll try to type this up, and I thought you did a great job too. And
Thanks.
I know it's the end of the year, we're all a little tired.
Right, exactly.
I was glad they would come and be with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Jen said she would come next Wednesday.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.